What's going on, my fellow Jedi and Padawans? Welcome back to another Jedi gaming video. Thank you guys so much for coming back to the channel, and if you guys are new, welcome. As you can see, we're going over a Glaive arc special weapon, the Nezarec Whisper from last season in the Season of the Hunt. Now, this is a very fun PvE weapon, especially with Arc 3.0, but we're going to show you both PvP and PvE god rolls for this bad boy. So right here, going over the PvP god roll first, we're using our range masterwork on this to get the stats you have below with 85 range, so we can absolutely map people with that projectile that we're going to be using and shooting. So first off, we're going to use ballistic tuning for its haft, which gives us that very big increased range. Now we're also going to be using accurized rounds so it can shoot farther in the crucible, once again stacking up to give us that 85 range stat, which is absolutely gnarly. Don't use glaives too much, but very fun to use this build right here on this Nezarec Whisper. Now for our enhanced perk in the third column, I'm going with tilting at windmills. So blocking damage with your shield increases movement speed for an improved duration while you are shielding. So this is how we're going to get close and personal with enemies if we're not doing damage from far away, especially with pairing this with our fourth perk. So we're going to block damage as we move closer and then use the melee portion of the glaive to get that 2-hit on them before they even know what hits them. Now stacking with that perk in our fourth column, we're going to be using the enhanced unstoppable force. So again, blocking damage with your shield increases that projectile damage for improved duration. So blocking, we're going to get that improved movement speed while we block so we can get closer, and if we don't get close enough to use the melee aspect, we're going to have unstoppable force procced, where we're going to have that 85 range to absolutely map them with that improved damage in that projectile. Very fun to use, especially with something like a Titan or even a Warlock with Arc Souls on you. You can get up close and personal very fast with both of those, and this is super fun. Not many people are expecting this to come out. Now on the flip side, for PvE, we're definitely using this for its shield to block that damage and then absolutely annihilate the champion or boss just to do enough damage to get it into its next damage phase, or defeat those champions that we can just stop the majority of their damage, as you can see with this weapon when you use its shield. So for me, for my intrinsic trait here, we went shield duration so we can have it be set for a nice long period of time in our shield duration. Now for our first haft right here, we're going with low impedance windings, so increased shield duration and increased reload speed, so important for that PvE realm when we're using those projectiles, because we're going to be up close and personal with this, doing that damage by blocking all of theirs. Then when they stop doing their damage, we go do those little melee hits on our damage, then they'll start back at you, just back and forth, if that makes sense. You'll see it in the gameplay. Right here, we're going with swap mags, so it increases our weapons stow and ready speed. So this is important if we're using something like our Arc Warlock. We can switch to our melee real quick, jolt that target, and then switch back to this weapon very fast because of this perk right here, and start doing our damage again with those melees, or if we're at our distance, start shooting them again. Now for our enhanced perks, very important here, massive increase to projectile velocity and sustained increase to reload speed. This is important for getting that nice juicy reload on that PvE realm to wipe out more enemies, and that projectile velocity, in my opinion, helps a lot because it does seem very slow when you're shooting it you can definitely notice that you do almost need to lead. It feels very slow in that PvE realm, so this helps with that reload and projectile velocity. And then we're using that Vorpal weapon so we can do that more damage against those guardians, and our reload is improved because of this enhanced version of Vorpal weapon. So this in the PvE realm is absolutely gnarly. In the Nightfall right here, just absolutely tanking all of the damage from Navoda. Then you can turn right around, like I said, do melee damage on them. And with some of the ways you can build this out in our arc fragments, you can have those arc projectiles blind enemies as well on final defeats. So it is a very, very effective PvE weapon. Don't use it too much in the PvP realm just because of how the meta is, and I don't really touch it too much right now because of how the meta is. So Glaive's not the best for that, but it is a very fun build if you do take it in there, but definitely shines the brightest in the PvE realm. And it has a multitude of uses. You can take it into endgame, like master versions of this Nightfall, master catch crash raids, blocks a lot of damage, especially with that 62 shield duration. So y'all should get to crafting this if you can from the Season of the Haunt. Weapons comes from the Crown of Sorrow in the helm, or running those containment missions on the moon and that dialect Leviathan. So thank you guys again, truly appreciate the support. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.